If you're like me, you would want to know how to be successful before you start a project. But when you don't have any real experience, you don't have a real good sense of what that means and what it takes. But delaying the decision and doing more research is not going to help you, not in the long run. At some point, you would have to make a decision to move forward. Luckily, there is a method that will increase your chances of making the right decision. In the end, it's still a gut feeling decision, but this method is going to increase the chances of you making the right decision. It's called the weighted average decision matrix. And stick around because I'm going to give you a couple of extra free niche website ideas. In my video from a couple of weeks ago, I showed you how to find niche website ideas on my local library. I'm going to fill them in the computer in a second, and I'm going to add in some of my own ideas. And after that, I'm going to show you Emilia Gardner's idea on how to get niche website ideas. And that idea is quite brilliant, but let me show you. In my spreadsheet here, I'm going to add 5 areas that I think are important for niche selection. I think these 5 areas are very important in my experience. You can add more if you like, but getting more than 6 or 7 is too much, I think. So the first one is easy topic ideas, and that is on a scale from 1 to 5. How easy is it to find ideas to write articles about? The next one is low competition. That is also on a scale from 1 to 5. How easy do I think the competition is to beat? The next one is how easy it is to monetize. Then there's something about community. And the last one is personal interest. One of the things we found in my earlier video was something called transcranial magnetic stimulation. Another thing was a specific area on gardening. We found something about not model trains, but model trams. Then something about touring bikes. And then something about vacation home management for homeowners. Art creator marketing. And the last one we found in that video from a couple of weeks back was fintech and cybersecurity. I promised you I was going to add in some of my own ideas. One of the ideas that have been in my spreadsheet for a while is allergy-free dogs. Here is something about using shipping containers for houses. This is actually an idea I got from the income school guys, but home DJing and equipment. I promised you I was going to find some ideas that Emilia Gardner suggested. And her idea was to look up conferences in some of the major cities. And the first one I thought of was Miami, and looking into the list here, there's a ton of great ideas. I just click on one of the top results here. I'm not quite sure what it is actually, but it's something about coach development for fitness training. Fitness coach development for women. I also looked up Las Vegas, and there was something that caught my attention here. It's LED something summit, and it actually seems to be a conference around doing HR work and doing it with the metrics and frameworks and all sort of fine words I don't even know here. I'm going through the list here to get a sense of how easy it is to find topic ideas. So if I just Google the main term, I can see there's only 2 also ask, and okay, there is some related searches. We can also go to Ubersuggest and see what comes up. Keyword ideas. Okay, so there's something here. Most of these keywords are YMYL, so maybe it's not going to be as easy as I thought in the beginning. So I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5. Garden cleaning and weed removal, I'm not going to look up because I know it's going to be easy to find ideas. I don't know yet how the competition is, but it's definitely going to be easy to find ideas. Model trams and sceneries I don't know much about. If you want, you can look it up to see if I'm right. I'm going to put it in the middle because I'm guessing that there will be a lot of topic ideas, but I don't know too much about it. So in the beginning, it will be difficult for me to find. And I'm going to do the same thing for competition. So the competition is YMYL areas, and that is hard to break into. So there's high competition here. So I'm going to give that a low number. Gardening is a very competitive niche, but as we saw in the earlier video, the specific area on cleaning and weed removal doesn't have too much competition, so I'm going to give that a higher number. Model train as well is a competitive niche, but going at it from the tram's perspective. For monetization, I would do one specific thing. I would go to Amazon and type in the keyword, and not because I'm going to use Amazon affiliates per se, but I'm going to look if there is any products around this area. So there's a headband, and it's a very good price actually, because it's not too high, so people will do days of research before buying, but it's still high enough to earn a decent commission. And then there's some books, maybe a little more technical stuff, and some supplements. So I know there's going to be products I can be affiliate for, even though I don't choose Amazon specifically. There will be some affiliate programs out there. There must be. And there's also going to be ads around some of these products. But maybe doing a course on it is going to be difficult. So I'm not going to give it a 5, even though the product seems to be good and a very good price. I'm going to give it a 4 anyways, because I know there is going to be something about it. Gardening is definitely going to have a 5. You can do pressure washers, and you can go and for smaller tools like shovels and everything else. Model trams are definitely also a very product heavy niche. And you can do building courses, and you can do ebooks, and I can quite easily see how that can be monetized. For the community aspect, I know there's going to be some interest around this, because most of these ideas came out of magazines. But finding a community around this specific treatment is maybe going to be a little more difficult. So this is not going to be a high number, but still something. A community around garden cleaning is maybe possible, but I don't see that people will go to conferences for this. So this is also going to be something in the middle. Model trains is definitely going to be a community-rich area, and people will travel long distances to get to conferences. I will just skip to this one because I know that this is not something that people will travel to conferences for, but there is a lot of Facebook communities around this. So I'm going to give this a high number, and I'm going to fill in the rest of the list now. And then for the personal interest, this is just for you. I'm going to fill it in with numbers just for me. So this is just a decision matrix, and that might be good enough if you just want a quick overview. But the weighted part comes in because some of these areas are not as important as others. So if you want early success, you would go for easy topics with a lower weight on monetization. If you want more monetization and you have some experience, you might go for a more competitive niche where it's more difficult to find good topic ideas. And a quick favor before we go on, if you're finding any of this useful, please touch the like button. I'm going to add in a column now for a multiple. I'm going to add in a multiple for how important easy topic ideas are. So if you're a beginner, you would want this to have a greater multiple. I have some experience, so I'm going to give it a lower multiple, but it is still somewhat important that I can find at least 100, maybe 200 ideas. I'm going to use a multiple of 3. This is going to be the same for everyone on the list here. For low competition, this is sort of the same thinking. If you're a beginner, you would put more emphasis on low competition than I would. It's still important, but I have some patience to wait maybe 2 years before this really takes off. If you want this to take off within the next 6, 8, or maybe 10 months, you would go for lower competition. So, and then you would give it a high multiple. And let's say you would want that, you would add a multiple of 5, say. For me, I have a bit more patience, and low competition is doesn't scare me as much. So I'm going to give it a lower multiple. And of course, I'm going to add the same thing for everything in the list. Monetization is important, of course. Again, if you're a beginner, this might not be as important as it is to me. If you want to practice your skill of blogging, you of course want to get some money out. But if it's, let's say, $900 instead of $1,000 a month, this might not be too big of a difference. At least you're earning something and developing skills. I would rank community high as well, as I feel it's always important. So I'm going to give it a multiple of 4. For personal interest, I would give this a high multiple if you're a beginner. You are going to burn out at some point. We all do in blogging. For me, I've been around a couple of times, so I know how it feels and I know how to get past it. So personal interest is not as important to me. But if you're starting out, I would recommend that you give this a high multiple, a 4 or a 5. I'm going to give it a 3. So now I'm going to add up everything here, but I'm not going to add the number I gave it. I'm going to add up the multiple. So I'm going to take this plus this plus this plus this plus this one, and it gives me the value added score. And the same goes for everything down the list. And now we can have a look to see what topic scored the most. So this decision matrix chose the allergy-free dogs thing. Touring bikes and gardening came high as well. Which one would you choose? This is going to be a case study going forward, so you can follow along and see how successful this decision matrix really is. It's a part of a project called Project Icarus. Emilia Gardner has more on that on her channel. It's her project, and she started a community around that. And this is my take on how to start and build a website. And you can follow along in this series. I'm also going to use this table here. I'm going to fill in the data as we go along, and I'm going to share all my revenue numbers and page views and all that fun stuff. Take care. See you next time. This is going to be a part of Emilia Gardner's Project Icarus. Project Icarus.